I am with a very special guest, an old client of mine, a previous client of mine.
But she's old.
I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Okay, my name's Maria. I'm 86 years old and I'm a 24/7 carer for my husband who's 89. I am pretty much an exercise junkie. I just love exercise. Even when I'm in pain, I just tone it down a bit and keep going. And eventually I get on top of it.
So, can you explain where you were with your physical health when we met?
Yeah, I had a fairly severe diverticular problem. And so I was in a lot of pain. And even though I exercised when I could, I got the feeling somewhat suicidal because I couldn't come up with why I was in so much pain. And so I got involved with the suicide prevention program, and I was working out in the gym when you came over and told me I had a hip problem. And I said, no, I have a knee problem. You showed me a little exercise, which at the time I had great difficulty doing. But a week later, I managed it. And then I decided to join one of your classes. And because I said something like, I can't do this, you told me no excuses, we want results. And I left pretty much after that, and people asked me if you had insulted me or whether I felt upset about what you said. And I said, no, he's right. I don't want excuses. I want results as well. And so I decided to talk to Dan about what I wanted from my exercise, but I wanted one-on-one because of my physical problems, like 5 herniated discs. Also, I had something in my neck, so I often had and balance problems. So, yeah, Dan said he would take that into consideration. We started our exercises, and within a couple of weeks, Dan and my exercise together had actually reduced my painkillers from 16 a day to none. And that to me was telling me that I should keep working with Dan until I managed really, really well. And he certainly did that for me. Dan has given me self-confidence, more motivation, and all that kind of thing than I ever had. And he told me one day, I know what's wrong. You're scared of, you're just scared. He didn't say scared of falling, but I'm sure that's what he meant because I had a couple of near misses in our sessions. And yeah, he's right. I'm scared of falling. And I just had a really nasty one, which broke my femur.
Mm.
Yeah, and that was not good. I was in hospital for 9 weeks, and there wasn't even one day that I did not exercise. Thanks for your support in that time too. I couldn't have done it without you.
That's excellent. Yeah. I just had to reflect what you were thinking, telling me that you're doing your exercises from bed and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're in that class, like, yeah, we had a brief conversation because you wanted to do your exercise, right? And it's the only thing keeping you sane. But because you can't do a lot of the exercises, the other gym trainers suggest that you spend all your time on the cardio machine, right?
Yeah. That's
That's where
right.
we met on the bike, and it said running a abs bum and or core class or something like that, abs bum and thighs or core. And so yeah, you're there on the floor, and I'm thinking, oh geez, I don't want to break Maria, but I thought, bugger it, everyone else is here. They just come in week after week doing the same course, expecting different results. So I thought we'd give you a little bit more attention and time, and everyone else can wait. And yeah, I was partly joking. You know, we want results, not excuses. But yeah, you're in the process of telling me that you had 5 herniated discs,
Yes.
and uh, you know, what was the difference in exercises that helped alleviate the pain?
I think because I tended to keep my knees fairly close together, but after our sessions, even when I sat on the rowing machine, I got my legs on in such a way that my knees were well and truly outside my feet. And I actually noticed that it loosened my hips. Uh, so I reckon what I did on the rower was exercising my hip flexors.
Yeah, pointing the knees out gets your glutes active, right?
Yeah,
But your glutes are only as strong as your core.
yeah.
And
Mm.
yeah, working on that breathing to squeeze the air out, tilt your hips back and your knees out altogether, right?
Yeah, yeah. I remember in the class that I actually lost my balance. And what impressed me at that moment was that you tossed a rug in my direction so that I fell on the rug. And I thought anyone who does a class and sees that has got to be good. And you're better than good.
Yeah. So with that breathing and things, even, and you were lying down on a mat, which is a struggle for yourself to even get up and down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're lying in hospital for 9 weeks with a broken femur, and there are still breathing exercises that you can do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's um well, I did a kind of modified Pilates exercise, and I also used those quite a lot earlier than that, where I'd have my feet um, stretched out and I'd just wave them around like that, and then I'd get my knees up and do the same with my knees. And I found that that actually loosened my body enough to be able to get out of bed comfortably without pain. But at the moment, I'm suffering a lot of pain. And believe it or not, I got to the stage where I thought, I wonder where I could get some cannabis oil. um, sorry.
No, the oil is like perfectly legal and fine, right? Well, I don't know, you're inducing it, or you can get just the rubbing oil. But yeah, why not? I always wondered when you see people in their senior years and you're thinking like, oh, these slow drivers, get out of the way. But why not? When you get to that stage, you may as well do the things that you did in the 60s and ease some pain for sure. But
Hmm. I think I actually did go out with my car, and that was about a week ago. I hadn't been in the car to drive since the 31st of January, which is when I took my tumble at Kingston Pool. And you wouldn't believe it, but I parked in a very small parking space, just dove straight in, didn't have to adjust it or anything. And I look at the people here who park their cars. No one can do it as good as that. Boasting now.
Yeah, well, it was good timing to be holed up in hospital during Corona anyway.
Yeah, true.
Everyone's isolated and bored. Now, what advice would you have for mums, say over 40, who feel like they can't do enough exercise to lose weight and get out of pain?
Well, from my own point of view, losing weight comes when you lose the pain, because the pain is what stops you doing what keeps you well. And my advice is just don't give up on the exercise. It doesn't matter how minimal it is. If it's something um, that you do because you're enjoying it, then it doesn't matter whether there's a baby crying, you'll do your 5 minutes. Because babies crying, it just exercises their lungs. You're more important.
Very cool.
I now get to the stage where if my husband interrupts me exercising, and that happens all the time, I just say, give me 5 minutes more. And if he doesn't hear me, I start singing it. Give me 5 minutes more. Only five. Oh, you don't want to hear that.
Fantastic. Excellent.
I do it with joy because I know what it does for my body. And I will never forget how you turned my thinking around in that time when I was 84, because that's when I did exercise. I didn't enjoy it because I was in too much pain. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And I recommend you as pretty much a magician with the exercise. And yeah, mums, believe you me, you'll never regret looking after yourself.
Beautiful words. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.